What kind of led you to build out Incense?
So it's not short answer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The short answer is because of my brother. So
Okay.
he ran a couple of e-commerce shops and then agency and helping other entrepreneurs in the space to get connected with content creators and influencers. And back in the days, like 8 years ago, he figured out that UGC content and influencers are going to be the most impactful for paid advertising. And
Uh,
that was not clear back in the days, right? He really believed in that. And for that, he was starting building his own creator database in Google spreadsheets. And his team was reach out to all of these influencers manually to get connected for and producing the content. And it was fine while he was building that for a couple of brands and 10 creators. But then when it started scaling, it became the whole mess. He was
yeah.
trying to find any software to help and to automate their operations. He couldn't because Upwork or Fiverr, it's not tailored to that. Influencer marketing companies like platforms there were asking about, I don't know, 25K retainer or something like that. And he needed only for UGC production, just
Mhm.
content. That was not the case, right? And that's how he decided to build the software and help other e-commerce entrepreneurs to get connected with those people who are able to produce the content and getting excited about your products. And he invited me to join.
Very cool. Awesome. And how long has Incense been established?
It's been 7 years,
Okay. Yeah. That is
quite some time.
awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Well, I'd love to dive a little bit into just, communicating with creators and just, working with creators to make content, right? I think personally, most of that starts and really boils down to the quality of the brief, right? And how the brief and the communication happen between the brand or the agency and the creator that way. I'm gonna ask a really broad question, but what does the ideal briefing process look like for you?
I would say before you're tapping into the briefing, you as the either agency or brand, you need to clearly understand your creative strategy. What are the angles? What are the pain points your product is solving, and why you even exist, right? As a brand. Um, this one that we highly recommend to everyone before you even touching the creators or even starting producing any content. How you're different from other companies? What are the pain points you're solving? But once you figure out that, then yes, create a briefing, and I would start. Everything starts from the objective. What is the objective from the content that you would like to get? Because you can create the content for your website as the video shoppable videos. You can create the content for your socials. You can create the content for influencer campaign, or you can do like just content like you just see for my ads. So nothing is going to be posted like ever. So objective is a key, and then conversions or impressions, different roles that you can take. Then definitely you need to understand what kind of creators do you want to work with, and then just provide the clear guidance of what should be delivered with the references. And I think the reference part is underestimated because sometimes you can say color green, and you know what, that color green is going to be so different for all of us.
Um,
That's why references are a really great way to showcase what you actually mean. And there's a solution for that called Foreplay. Zach Murray building this. It's a really great solution how to find something that your competitors is doing or just in general in the market. But yeah, basically then create a briefing. What we recommend typically that your hook and CTA should be well scripted because that's what you want to deliver as a message. And creators are great, but sometimes they're not professional marketers, right? Like it's your job to guide them. Though, like body of the content, you can provide a lot of freedom because that's what divides UGC content or creator content from any other content is more how to bring this authentic approach. So yeah, and then just provide the freedom to the creator.
well, that was my next question. I'd love to understand what you said there a little bit more because I was going to ask, do you like the brief to be very to the point and shot by shot list, or do you like to give that creative freedom that way? When you said, was it the body of the creative that you let them have a little bit of freedom with?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Tell me a little, what do you define the word body, I guess, is the question I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's the part of the creative between the hook and CTA, something
Uh-huh.
like that. You're opening the creative. It's typically
Gotcha.
1, 2, 3 seconds. Here's the problem, right?
Uh-huh.
I experienced this problem, and then you're just like, oh wow, I'm relating to that. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
continue watching that. And then the CTA, it's clearly a call to action. Like what is the offer, right? And something
Yeah.
in between is called body. So you can tell the story. You can showcase the pain points that your product is resolving or benefits of using that. You can do before and after. So there are different ways how to talk about that. But this part could be and should be, in my opinion, flexible. You
Uh-huh.
need to guide what the pain points should be there, or like how to speak about your product. But then it's on influencers or creators to decide how to speak about that.
I love that. And I mean, just thinking through the role of a creator and just breaking down like hats that they have to wear generally when they're making creative, because I know everybody has different processes, but they are, if the brand or brief creator is not coming up with specifics, like you said, being the marketer, then the UGC creator is responsible for the marketing, like the angle, right? The messaging. They're responsible for video production, quality, I mean, scripting, but quality. And then they're also responsible for video editing, which is another conversation we can have in a bit. But how do you go about finding a good creator? What are some signals for you to understand, okay, this person doesn't necessarily have a review system, but I think they're going to be good based off of this or not based off of this?
Yeah, if you're new in the market and you don't have the experience, then you can definitely using some software who can
Uh-huh.
help you to match with the right creators, like Insense, right?
Uh-huh.
The company that I'm building, because in that case we can showcase who is the professional UGC creator and like response rate and the other params that you can find the best creator for you. But in the nutshell, I would say there are a few things that you need to take a look right away. First of
Uh-huh.
all, either this creator is really enthusiastic about your product and they have a really good vibe. You know, when you're watching that, do you want to buy something? Even though like it's this person is not talking about your product. So that's why I always ask them about their portfolio of branded content, not just
Mhm.
content that they posted on Instagram. It's different about branded content for ads. You ask them, and then you see this. Okay, now I want to check it out, this product, even though like I never thought about that. If that's the vibe that you're getting from the creator, this is the check mark number one. The second one is that the just general quality of the content when it comes to the sound or light, or is the camera is shaking and not on purpose when like you're running, and then like, it does make sense to make it shaking. But like if you just see it and then camera is still shading, is it doesn't make sense or not? So just a tech quality of the video that you can definitely can verify from the portfolio. And the last one is that how what is the conversation between you, right? You reach out to this person via software, or just DMing or on Twitter or Instagram, and then if the person is saying, yes, I love your product because of this and that, here's my portfolio, here's the link. Yes, sure, it's possible to deliver for me within your dates, right? You like to work as a freelancer, so then if it's a good vibe, if it's professional, then probably this person will deliver a good content to you.
And you said something really important there. You said many important things, but you said something that stood out to me in specific because, on other platforms that I've seen to source UGC, one thing that I prominently see is they will direct you towards the person's organics to see the type of organic content. You said there's a clear difference between branded content and portfolio and organic. Why would you not want to see their organic content?
I would say if you would like to partner up with the influencer,
Yeah,
for something influencer posting, then
yeah,
like does make sense, right? I would say organic posting is going to be the key.
yeah,
How to evaluate whether it's a great creator for you or not. But if you are working with an influencer or just UGC creator on the purpose of just content, then organic posting, it's a way different about how they're approaching the things, because hooks or CTAs are way different. Like, do you know, like, if there are any hooks for influencer posts? Sometimes there's like zero hooks, right?
yeah.
They straight away to the body, just explain the problem and so on.
Mhm.
So it's way different. So that's why we always recommend to take a look on the portfolio and just understand, okay, how this person actually working with the different tasks, and like what are the results.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that can get overlooked from a designer aspect or just a creative aspect is like hooks and creative or thumbnails for YouTube are very different than creative strategy for Facebook ads, which is very different than creative strategy for organic, which is different than website. Like they all have different aspects to them and design styles or creation styles to them as well. So I could definitely see
I
that.
I'll just add here, moreover, you can see a creator who can deliver a great content for Instagram, but doesn't mean these creators are going to be great for TikTok or YouTube Shorts. No, that's not true. Like, it's what we found that sometimes platform-centric creators are the best ones. So it doesn't mean that there is a UGC creator and they can understand and work with any platforms. So for this purpose, actually, it's good to take a look on the organic feed of this creator. Just
No,
understand, okay, what is the vibe? Because what we found that some TikTokers who has, like, I don't know, thousands or millions of views on TikTok, right? They don't have that many on Instagram, and they're not that popular. And moreover, you're seeing that this content is not really engaging with the
yeah,
audience.
yeah. That's a very good call out there. And I mean, you've been in the creator space. Incense has been in the creator space for 7 years. It sounds like you've had some more experience outside of that as well. You know, you have a great 1,000-foot view over the landscape of all of the creator content from a pricing aspect with it. I think platforms like yours do a good job at standardizing pricing or at least bringing pricing transparency. But if you're sourcing content from a creator off of Twitter or off of Upwork or something like that, it can be more difficult to understand what is properly valuated and what is not. How do you go about understanding, aside from running the ad and seeing your net return from it, like if a potential quote for ad or creator content is too high, or maybe it's a good deal?
It's a great question, and unfortunately, there is no right answer to that, at least as is right now. This is one of the biggest problem, not only for us, but to be honest, for the market,
Uh-huh.
because we also do not dictate the pricing on our platform, meaning
Uh-huh.
that you can negotiate any price with the creators, and you're dealing with them directly. So in
Uh-huh.
sense, it's not meet player in that conversation, right? And that's the problem that we were struggling for quite some time, because sometimes creators can opt in for $50 per asset. Some of the creators, they can opt in for 400, and then you take a look on their portfolio, and that's pretty much the same, right?
Well,
So what we did, we created a price guidelines that we educated both sides. So for the creators, while we're doing onboarding and then also down the road, we're always educating them, like, what is the price range for different content and deliverables should be, and vice versa for the brands. So whenever you are struggling to understand, like, what's up, what is it the right pricing or not, then you can take a look on that, and then you can negotiate with the creators. Because in the end of the day, you can always negotiate, because if I'm genuinely love your product as a creator, come on, like, I am going to be flexible, because I'm not Kim Kardashian of the world, right? Because
yeah.
for Kim Kardashian, something taking less than 500K per post, it just doesn't make sense. It just does not, right?
Mhm.
For smaller creators, they are flexible if they genuinely love your product.
Yeah, and I've seen too this, evolvement over having your flat rate for creative and creators now asking for like monthly licensing, if you will, to run ads with it. What's your stance on that or what's your thoughts on that? And do you see that continuing to be just charging either like per ad per month or like per ad spend towards the ad?
Yeah, for us, the stand is that you only provide the live license. So
Okay.
all content that you produce in the on instance, you agree that it's going to be like for whatever amount, like for all digital platforms. That's really important. If you are producing this content to use on TV or outdoor advertising, then 100% you need to agree and buy maybe special license for that. But a part of that, it's clear. And I don't believe that's this approach is right, to be honest. You can name higher pricing, whatever, but we truly believe that for paid social, you need to be able to produce the content and build your own creative library. So you created the content in 2021 and it was great. I'm taking the hook from this creator and I'm using in my mashup in
Hmm.
2023 because I love
Hmm.
it and I know that it worked well. So and imagine that you're going back to this creator and never got a response because this creator it's not longer a gig for the person. He moved on, he joined the company or whatever, right? Like there is no answer. Then you are losing this, but you already paid for that. So that's
Hmm.
why we truly believe that for content, it's a lifetime. Though if you are doing the partnership ads or Spark ads, uh, sometimes it's called influencer whitelisted ads, where you can whitelist influencer handle directly to ads managers. For that purpose, it does make sense because in that case, I'm using your identity. So in that case, some time framework like 90 days or 60 days, it does make sense.
Yeah. No, well, that's good to know. And have you seen any negative kickback from creators on that policy?
Um, to be honest, like with those creators that we
Yeah.
are working who are more niche, so some of them they don't have any followers. The most of them they have followers in between 10,000 and 200,000 followers.
Mhm.
We don't see that. We know that for those who have like millions in followers, you can get kickback.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I've seen from the agency side or from the person creating the brief side, so the client or the agency, some talk about trying to shoot for getting raw files so that you can edit content as well. And talking with different creators, some are open to it, some want to upcharge for that because they know that more ads will be created based off of that. My personal stance and one that I've seen is, to me, it can make the creator's life easier because they don't have to worry about editing and revisions and all that. They can just shoot and send that way. Have you seen any specific stance or do you have any certain opinion on like getting raw files from creators as well?
In the majority of our deals right now, starting 2020, raw materials are necessary.
Yeah.
So you can choose in our creative briefing either only raw materials ready to use or both. And to be
Right.
honest, the majority of our clients they choosing both. And I think
Right.
that's the advantage that our platform has, like with with other solutions out there. Because sometimes you are working with them, and here's the UGC that we created. It's great, and it might be great, right? But there's no raw materials. With us, you can definitely build the creative library, and I do believe that it is the right approach because to your point, right? Then you don't worry about editing that and so on because in that case, oh, can you do like another angle and so on? So no, like B-roll, like raw materials. That's I deliver. Then I don't say like I don't care, but it's more about oh okay. Then it's not my goal, right? It's you to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it leaves the marketing a little bit more towards the brand or to the agency that's doing those things
Exactly,
as well.
and because there are some of the UGC creators with the experience in marketing, and
Yeah.
they have understanding. But to be honest, like how many of them? Like hundreds,
Yeah.
and you're working with thousands and millions, and that's the role of you as a marketer to figure out what is the angle what is the approach that you should take for your paid social campaigns. It's not on the creator, with all
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah, 100%. And um, I have two questions here that are going to be maybe a little controversial, but I think they're valid questions, or at least one's valid, one's kind of funny. The valid one I'll start with is how do you balance branding and UGC? This is one thing as an agency that talking with clients, we go back and forth with. I have my own personal opinion, but I'll just leave the floor open to you. How do you go about that balance?
That question. The bigger brand, the more enterprise brand, the more they care about the brand. The more brand is really performance oriented, they less care about the brand itself. They care about the performance in the end of the day. Luckily, we work primarily with performance driven brands.
Gotcha.
So they really care about the end output and the quality of the content. And less about the kind of all of the brand guidelines and brand books and so on. We do work with some market brands like Uber or Kayak or HelloFresh, but even those brands, they truly understand that when you're dealing with the creators, provide them some flexibility. That's the way how new social platforms work, so new social formats. Otherwise, you're going to be screwing up. And I think that's not the case, but yeah, it's I do understand your question. It's tough.
And I feel like partially, I just thought of this, so it might not come out right, but the being on brand is more so being on platform native looking content versus being your brand. Like adapt your brand to those things.
And moreover, I think like the whole marketing is shifting towards, and that is the challenge. So it's going towards person-founded brand, meaning that creators are going to be founding their own brands and then going to be selling that to their audience. And then you as a brand, as a company, you need to provide them like inventory or financials, how to deal with all of this execution part of the e-commerce, but not about how to sell this thing. So that's why those brands who clearly figure out, oh, let's give them flexibility, they're going to be winning. And for instance, I love Nike. I think Nike, they have brand books and so on, but all of this collapse, sometimes they're doing crazy thing because they trust this person. And I think that's what is really important in these days. It's just to trust to creator and build the relations. And sometimes just give a shot.
I think that's interesting too. Of the panel that you were on at the SendLane conference, one of the other speakers is a brand owner, and he was talking about he hasn't really run paid ads. Like his main driver of revenue or marketing has been finding in-house creators and pumping out creative day over day. He has, I think, 4 in-house creators, and it was a multi-million-dollar brand, right? He had formed that relationship, and that production timeline gets to move so fast because they've been working, iterating in one specific brand for 40 hours a week.
Exactly. That's Isaac from Mini Katana. Check it out, Mini Katana. It's outstanding brand. It's the brand that I personally admire, as well as the team, because they cannot sell on paid because technically katanas, it's a weapon. So you cannot advertise on Facebook or TikTok. So that's why they went heavily on organic, and they have built something fascinating about the way how they working with influencers. And to your point, yes, they hired 4 professional UGC creator or influencer in-house, and it's just a UGC factory basically.
Yeah, it's smart. We, after hearing that, because we work with creators for our clients, we've really been working to push towards finding more of a reliable, consistent approach with the same creators across brands so that we can just keep having that rhythm. Even though they're working with different products, our communication pathways are still staying tight. And we know, consistency with their output, and we don't have to worry about lighting quality checks or anything like that with it. So last controversial question for you here. Is UGC dead? We hear it on Twitter. Is it dead?
It's not, and moreover, the question, the person. By the way, today is his birthday. Nick Shackelford, great friend and investor in a sense. So that's the guy who actually originally raised this question on Twitter, as starting pushing that heavily, right? Why Nick, as the founder and C-suite at structured agency, has a person with the title director of UGC, Stephanie. So yes, 100% UGC is not that, but the old ways of how to tackle UGC is that, meaning that everyone thought like, oh, let me hire anyone to shoot some content like this, and it's going to be performing great in paid. So it's not going to work.
The
always.
Unboxing, facing the camera, look at what I got, like just quick monologue type UGC that was really the starting point.
Yeah, you need to understand how to, what is the creative strategy, what is the creative briefing, how to find the right creators, how to build relations with them, how to move to long-term relations like mini Katana, how to continue finding the new influencers and doing like whitelisted ads for you with the UGC, right? There are like so many nuances right now, and you need to change the approach how to deal with that. So the old ways how to produce UGC is that, but UGC is not that. UGC is still performing really great, and we know that for sure because the majority of our customers, they're saying that 70 or 80% of their creative library, it's UGC. I'm not talking about fashion, because these brands, they can go for DPA. Just give a shout to my friend Dan, who is a founder of Marpipe. Check it out, marpipe.com. It's a great solution for creating the ones, but for that you need to have a lot of SKUs. Then it does make sense. But in general, UGC is not that. But you need to tackle and you need to learn how to deal with the UGC in a different way these days.
And I think your answer encompassed more than just UGC. I think it encompassed paid ads or Facebook ads in general. It's like it's right. Not as easy as it used to be, right? I'm not saying it used to be easy, because it used to be very much technical media buying tactics. And now it's less about that and more about your marketing and your messaging and your creative strategy.
Exactly.
And so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I would say like media buying right now, it's more on autopilot when it comes to the platforms like Meta platforms or TikTok. The whole AI thing is doing a great job, right? The whole optimization and so on. And there are some tools who can help you to achieve higher results. Mm-hmm. But in the nutshell, almost everything, it's your offer, your creative strategy, and your creatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on that. And I think it'll continue to advance and get just more about knowing how to speak to your customer. So 3 rapid fire questions for you here at the end. If you had to summarize everything we've discussed today into a marketing mindset, shameless plug for the podcast, what mindset should marketers or business owners have when it comes to UGC?
Testing approach, always learning something new, and do not copy past someone, build your own style, learn from others, build your own.
And for anyone listening that's at the stage of figuring out what they'd like to do in the marketing industry, what marketing role or roles do you think will have the highest demand opportunity in the next 3 to 5 years?
Creative strategist.
I love that.
It's essential. It's essential.
Yeah. Let me ask you this then. Let me double down on that. I know this is rapid fire, but what do you think? I feel like everyone's trying to figure out what a creative strategist role is, right? And I had Sarah Levinger on here recently, and we were talking. She was saying, hey, maybe it's even a copywriter that also knows some creative. What does a creative strategist look like to you? Do you have any thought on that?
Yeah, and by the way, Sarah is one of the best.
Genius.
Genius. Simply genius. Yeah, my point of view, if you're D2C, so creative strategist, in many ways, it's still the person with experience in paid advertising. So you need to clearly understand the way how it works. Sometimes a lot of creative strategies, they came from paid marketing. So they've been running the content. They do understand how it should work and so on. Also copywriters, right? Persons who clearly understand how to brief creators. So what is the angle and so on. So I would say creative strategist is not only the person who being just creative, but it's also clearly understand what is the pain points of your audience and how to show your product in the right way, with the right direction, and with the right offer.
No, I love that. Sorry, it broke up there at the end. I love that. And so that's one thing that I've been looking at as we're hiring for creative strategists is senior media buyers that have good marketing, right? Because they know the platform. Copywriters to see how they can do there. One thing that someone called out that was interesting was even trying to test out, not senior, but like senior organic social channel managers to see if they, like specific to the one that you're going towards, to see if they could translate the work that they've done for organic posting into paid posting. So yes, interesting. And then last question for you here. Where can listeners connect with you and learn more about Incense?
Incense.pro, that's our website. You can check it out, our blog post. We're always trying to drive some content that is going to be available, ebooks, guidelines with our partners in the tech and or agency space. You can check it out my LinkedIn. It's Danil Saliukov, or Twitter, same. So DANIL SALUKOV. So I always trying to share something valuable to the audience, give a follow, give you feedback, ask questions. I'm always here for you.
Perfect. Well, this was great. I feel like I learned a lot about UGC and connecting with creators. I appreciate you coming on today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Colby, for having me.